Tuesday, August 6, Crumbs for the Dogs. Read Mark chapter 7, verses 24 to 27. What important lessons are found in this story? Mark 7, beginning at verse 24. Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an impure spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, born in Syrian Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. "First, let the children eat all they want," he told her, "for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." "Lord," she replied, "even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." Then he told her, "For such a reply you may go. The demon has left your daughter." She went home and found her child lying on the bed and the demon gone. Following on the heels of the challenging passage in yesterday's study, the story in this passage also raises troubling questions. Why does Jesus respond so harshly to this woman, in so many words, calling her a dog? He does not openly explain, but two characteristics in his response to her suggest what he is teaching. Mark 7:27 says that the children should be fed first. If there is a first, it seems logical that there would be a second. The other characteristic is that Jesus uses a diminutive form of the word dog, not meaning puppies, but rather in context, dogs allowed inside the house in contrast to street dogs. The woman picks up on these two markers in her response to Jesus, which helps explain her response. The woman's response is rather pointed. She replies, "Lord, yet even the dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs," in verse 28. How did this woman come up with this response to Jesus? Certainly, the love for her daughter drove her forward, but Jesus also encouraged her. He said first, implying there could be a second. Furthermore, he implied she was a dog under the table. Just as the dog was in the house under the table, so she was at Jesus' feet, pleading for her daughter. So she claimed a dog's right to the food that fell on the floor. The woman's response reveals her faith. Calling the mighty miracle of healing her daughter from a distance a crumb indicated both that Jesus' power was especially great. If such a miracle were a crumb, what would a whole loaf be? And that granting her request was a small matter for him. Jesus was moved and granted her request. In The Desire of Ages, page 401, we read, "By his dealings with her, he has shown that she who has been regarded as an outcast from Israel is no longer an alien, but a child in God's household. As a child, it is her privilege to share in the Father's gifts." End of quote. And so to finish today, why is prejudice against other races and nationalities contrary to the teaching of Jesus? How can we seek to be purged of this evil? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.